So, congratulations, you've transitioned, and now you're ready to show yourself off to the world. You're gaining confidence in public spaces, and you're probably feeling pretty good about yourself, right? Suddenly, your internal processes begin knocking. You know, number one, number two, or both. You head towards the public restroom, and then it hits you. Which door should I enter? As a newly transitioned male or female, has this happened to you? It happened to me, and I have some tips on how to handle that situation coming up. Hey everyone, I'm Audrey Hardenberg and welcome to Transaudyssey. My channel is dedicated to older transgender people who, like myself, transitioned later in life. Thanks for coming back if you're a returning subscriber. If this is your first time here and you like what my channel is about, then be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. When you do subscribe, make sure to hit that notification bell. Every time I upload a new video, YouTube will notify you and you'll know when all my new stuff is coming out. Okay, the main topic for today, using a public restroom for the first time as a transgender person. It's definitely a scary experience, especially for the older transgender person who for most of their life have used one bathroom or one restroom. To use a new restroom, it can be a little intimidating. You may be unsure of what to do. It often leads to decision paralysis. That's what I call it. The fears all come at once. Will I be called out? Will someone physically confront me? What's the protocol for using a restroom that matches your gender identity? And lastly, will it be obvious that I'm a transgender person? Oh, it just goes on and on. You may just want to flee the situation altogether. Bladder and bowels be damned. I'm just gonna go home and pee. Now, maybe all, some, or none of this has happened to you, but it happened to me, and I have two situations I'm gonna present to you. Situation number one, I'm with my family at a movie theater. It's a long movie, a lot of popcorn, and drinking a large iced tea, and the movie's over, we're all getting ready to leave. Holy cow, I have to go to the bathroom. What do I do? Situation number two, again, me and the family went to an amusement park down in Pittsburgh. It was hot and it was crowded. It was a long trip down there. Now, at first I was okay. All of a sudden, I had to go. This is how I handled those two scenarios. At the movie theater, I stopped, looked at both doors, wasn't sure what to do, and I had that decision paralysis I was talking about. But ultimately, I decided to use the men's restroom because at the time I was just initially starting my transition and I call myself a hybrid. I wasn't quite presenting as female and I wasn't quite presenting as male, and I just went and used the men's restroom. I deducted that there was no one in either one, but I would be safer if I used the male bathroom at the movie theater, and I felt safe. But when I was done and walked away, I felt so foolish. Okay, scenario number two, the amusement park. That was totally different. At the time, I was fully presenting as female, and it was one of my very first outings as Audrey, and it was summer, and we decided to go to this amusement park, and it was hot, it was humid, and I was really worried about how people perceive me. So what did I do? Put on my eyeshadow, mascara, I put on my foundation. I was looking pretty good until I started walking around. It was hot and humid, and all of a sudden, I'm sweating, my makeup's smearing, and I had to go to the bathroom. So we stopped at this public restroom. It was pretty crowded and everyone went their own way, and I didn't know what to do. So I didn't do anything. I just held it in. So later on, my partner realized I was in a bad mood and I was looking kind of miserable. She said, "What's the problem?" I'm like, "I really have to go to the bathroom." And she's like, "Okay, do you want me to go with you?" At that point, there was no argument. I had to go. I was really glad she offered to go in with me. Now, this is the first time I've gone into a women's restroom while I was occupied, and there were hundreds of women in there. Mothers, grandmothers, kids, grandkids, all running around. It was hot. The first stall I saw that was open, I went in and did my business. And I'll tell you what, whew, that was close. That was a hard thing to do. And I walked out of there, at least I was relieved. And I was like, well, I got that under my belt now. In hindsight, I look back on it, and it just seems so silly how I reacted to those situations. Even though at the time, it was the most stressful thing I'd ever experienced in my life. Every transgender person has their own experience. Yours may be different than mine. But my advice to you, when you come across this situation and you feel sort of the same way, trust your gut. Your gut will tell you what is the safest thing to do. And what you decide to make yourself feel more comfortable and safer, that's the way to go. Also, having a friend or spouse or partner accompany you, that's a big help. It's kind of like jumping into a pool of cold water. You know, you get in there and the initial shock is just like, it doesn't feel good. You're just like, what did I do? And then over time, you get used to it. When do you get used to it? You'll eventually figure it out that you're going to use the restroom that fits your gender identity. And you'll realize that's where you belong. Okay, here's a safety tip. Always, always, always be aware of your surroundings. If you're going to use the restroom that matches your gender identity, just kind of know who's around you, and when you walk in, what's the situation like? If possible, ask a friend to go with you. Safety in numbers. Although the restroom debate has kind of died down over the past year, there are still people out there that don't agree and could do you some harm. They could confront you or even attack you. So be vigilant. Be safe. Okay, I'm going to wrap things up today. I'm really glad that you joined me, and I hope I was able to help you out a little bit about the whole bathroom thing. Remember, if you like what I do here, please subscribe. My goal is to have 50 subscribers by the end of 2019, and right now I'm up at 21, so I'm really happy about that, and thanks for everyone who's subscribed to my page. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Just look for @OdysseyGirl. And if you really like my page, why not become a Trans Odyssey fan club member? Just go to my Patreon page, join one of the membership tiers for just $1 a month. You can get access to behind-the-scenes videos and live streams, and much more. Just go to www.patreon.com/Audrey Hardenberg. Check it out, and if you do become a patron, I really appreciate your support. Okay, everyone, thanks for joining me today. I'll have more coming up next week. Until then, big hugs, big hugs. Bye.